And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at The Coldest Night. The Coldest Night is a game that's a cooperative game. All the players are working together. You're stuck in some cabin in the middle of a blizzard. Doesn't say when, doesn't say where. Yeah, well, you're in an abandoned lodge, but there's no kind of reference point to it. In fact, when I first saw it, I thought, is this zombies? No, nothing about zombies. You're just trying to not freeze to death. And so you're stuck in a lodge in the middle of nowhere. And in this game, you are just trying to survive. Here's how it plays. The goal of this game is to not freeze to death, and you'll be doing that with this fire pit here in the middle. And it starts with the newspaper match and logs in it. And these cards here are going to they all have two values on them. They have a fire value, so you'll see that the logs here have a fire value of 3, a heat value of 3, and then an ash value of 1. And these cards are going to be all in a row here with this deck next to them, and you'll have some items over here. On a player's turn, they have two different options that they can do. One of the options is you can scavenge. You can draw 3 cards, and you can keep one and pass the others around. You can distribute them amongst players as you so choose. Another option is to add to the kindling. So I might say, hey, I'm going to throw something on the pile. When you do that, you have to look at the ash value. So if I want to throw this diary on, who cares about what happened in this person's life? I look at the ash value, it's 7. I need at least 7 here of heat. 3, 5, 7. There is. So I could throw that diary into the fire, increasing the heat value. And in fact, sometimes you may need to. Let's say, for example, that there was only the logs were here. And by the way, when I add it all the way over here to the left. So let's say there was only a match here. And I can't play the diary that way, but I might be able to throw in this end table, which needs no ash and adds 2. And then later on, I can find some other card, maybe these photographs. They cost 3, and I put 1 in. Now I got a total of 5. Still not enough to put in the diary, but now I can throw in these blinds, which have 4 and 1, and I can throw those in. Sometimes they'll give you something like this end table. When I do this, I get the cellar key, which later on I can discard to draw 2 cards. If I get the alcohol, and when this is in the fire, I get +1 heat. So that's kind of cool. So there's different things that you can get. So you're either going to add cards to the thing, and you can add up to 4, and you can add as many as you want, as long as you follow the rules about the ash being less than or equal to the total number of heat that's out there. Or you can scavenge. Regardless of what you do, the rightmost card goes away at the end of a round. And then if there is 2 or less cards, you will get a frostbite card. Frostbite cards are bad. This gives me memory loss. When you would draw a card, draw 2 and keep the one with a higher ash value, return the other to the top of the deck. Well, that's not too bad, but it's not very good either. Here, my hand limit becomes 3. How do you get rid of frostbite cards at the beginning of your turn? If the total number of heat is exactly equal to the card on your frostbites, you can discard that. So that's how a turn works. First, you check to see if you get rid of frostbite. Then you either feed the fire or you scavenge. Then the fire will die down. You check for frostbite, and then you'll draw 1 card at the end of a round. Now, how do you win the game? Because there's lots of ways to lose. All the cards run out, you're dead. If nobody can play a card, you're dead. If all the frostbite cards run out and someone needs to draw one, you're dead, or you freeze to death. But if you go through all the cards in the deck and you have them all in your hand and there's still cards in the middle, then you survive the night and you win. There's not a lot of components in the game. The frostbite cards are just numbers and things. It's probably good because you would not necessarily want to see the effects of frostbite. Here we got pictures, and it's basically whatever you're burning up. So a hunting trophy, burn that thing, old curtains, a wooden spoon, a paperback, a mirror frame. There's all kinds of stuff that you're going to be burning as the game goes by. Here's some more. This one says teddy bear. I think you're burning the dollhouse, not the teddy bear, but there's a dollhouse. I guess they didn't want to use different artwork for the 2 of them, but whatever. The game isn't so much about the pictures anyway, but they're okay. The card quality is okay. The components for this game are okay. So here's the deal. The Coldest Night itself is a cooperative game, and there's a gazillion cooperative games out there. So what does this one do differently? Well, it's kind of a one-trick pony in the sense that you're playing these cards, and you got to try to put them together. The game has this rule that I hate in games. When I go through different rules, and that's the fact that you got to be kind of ambiguous. You're allowed to talk. You're not allowed to say I need 7, but you're allowed to say I have a lot, and it's just like, so annoying, that rule, because how ambiguous are you supposed to be? But anyway, let's say you figure that out. You're trying to play cards specifically that, if you have a card that has a lot of ash, you kind of want to get that out on the table when you can. You got to build the fire up. So your question is, do you scavenge or do you just keep throwing cards in that fire? But there will come a point where no one will be able to throw cards in the fire. Not only that, and I didn't show them an overview, but there's 3 cards in here called the Fire Dwindles, and they're stuck at various points in the deck, and when they come out, they get added to the thing automatically. They provide no heat, but they take up a card slot, and so they kind of force you to kind of refigure everything out. See, the game is essentially, don't play cards that roar the fire up too easily, because you only have a few of those. You need to play those when you can throw bigger stuff in. And when's the best time to scavenge? Because when you scavenge, you're going to get frostbite. Happens every single time. And that's my concern with the game. I thought the game was fine. It was an interesting game. And game 2 is the exact same thing, just the cards come out in a different order. This is a really one-note thing. You do the same thing in this game over and over and over and over and over. And then in the next game, you do the same thing over and over and over and over and over. Now, it's up to you if you're going to decide that that's worth the price on it. If you're willing to pay for a small card game that you'll play 2 or 3 times. Unless you do like playing it over and over and over again. But there's so many other cooperative games that have such a bigger, wider diversity. This one's really narrow, really focused. I think the theme, Staying Alive Before You Freeze, is a good one, and it works well. And the whole ash versus the flame thing is an interesting idea. It's just that sometimes I think games should be shrunk. This one feels like that's a small mechanism of a slightly bigger game. So the Coldest Night, I don't dislike it. I thought it was interesting. I just don't feel like, again, it's about manipulating numbers. And then again, it's also about, it really is really affected by the order the cards come in your hands. It just is. Sometimes you don't draw, you get a bad hand draw. Whether you scavenge or not, you're going to die. Sometimes the wrong frostbite card comes at the wrong time, you die. In fact, I have not beaten the game yet, although we come close. I don't know that I awfully care about it either, though. I feel like I've already explored this game a ton. Has nothing new to offer me other than me getting lucky and winning at some point. So, I don't know. Again, like the theme, but it just pales besides other cooperative games. The Coldest Night. Dice Tower Judgment. It's okay a couple times.